Welcome to Help! I Have Kids. I'm your host, Pam Marshall, a mom of 5 and a pediatric occupational therapist with over 35 years experience. This podcast is designed to equip you with practical tools, insights from experts, and real-life stories. Because at the end of the day, you are the head of your child's care team. Each week, you'll hear from pediatric experts and fellow moms like you that will help build your confidence. They'll offer clarity and empower you to make informed decisions that work for your whole family. Today, we have a special guest with a special birth story, my friend Meredith. Hi, Meredith.
Hey, Pam.
I know you have some excitement to tell us about your birth story today.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind since the last time I've been on the podcast.
Last time we were just talking about before you were pregnant and you were anticipating and thinking you had a long time before you were actually going to become a mother at that point.
Yeah, little did I know it was like the month later.
Little did you know, surprises happen. So go back, if you haven't heard that conversation with Meredith, she asked some incredible questions. So for moms out there that are expecting, or maybe you have a friend who's expecting for the first time, she asked some really smart, great questions. And I think there's a lot of helpful information in that episode. So you ought to check it out. Well, today we're starting from the beginning about your birth story. So tell us a little about you were pregnant. You had how much time left at that point when we did the podcast? Maybe 3 months, 2 months or something.
Yeah, since we did the podcast, probably like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Before, yeah.
So, but what happened? Tell us the story.
So we'll go back to, whenever I was pregnant, we, at the 20-week scan, we found out that she had a complication. And, that's always hard to hear, but it was.
I'm sure that was scary. It was frightening.
Yeah.
Something's wrong and you didn't expect it and you get this news and you're shocked.
I mean, and even back to like the podcast, I was listening to it before we got on here just to refresh myself on what we talked about. And we were just talking about how you have no control. You have no control at all. And in that moment, I wasn't going to talk about the complication in the last podcast, but now that's kind of come to fruition, I can open up a little bit more about it now. But so we found out the complication and it was frightening. But, so we went on with pregnancy and it was just the feeling of not being in control at all. Yeah. Me and my husband both were just, I didn't do anything for that to happen. I kept asking my doctors, did I do anything? Did I eat something at that time? Did I could I have done something? And they were like, no, it's just completely spontaneous.
And out of your control.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
but isn't that unique? Yeah. You got the first dose of we moms take things hard and blame ourselves. Sometimes when there's no blame, like you didn't do anything wrong. And we take that hard, because we're the baby house and we try to do the best we can to house our baby and keep them healthy. And so I'm sure that was your first emotional rawness of motherhood. You just got forced into it.
Well, I mean, you go to the 20-week scan and you're like, I'm finding out we knew the gender of the baby, but the gender of the baby, and you're going to count all the fingers and the toes, and then you're going to sit in the office and they're going to come in and say, your baby's perfectly healthy and everything's fine, and here's the next steps. Come back in however many weeks. And, she came in and she was like, so we found this complication, and we were just like,
bug-eyed, I'm sure.
Yeah. Grant and I were like, what's the gender of the baby? Do you think that they'll be able to tell the size? And, we didn't even have in our mind, could there be a complication? I don't know why. Right. Probably because we were first-time parents and just new to this. I don't know. Yeah. But, so then on down, I had weekly appointments with the...
I was going to say, that was a shocker, too, is how to all of a sudden get to these many, many, many appointments you had to go to.
Yeah.
And specialists and just all of that. That's a lot.
Yeah, we ended up having to go to Cincinnati Children's. And so I got an MRI, and they did the MRI on me, but really they were doing it on her, which is crazy how they can do that. But they did an MRI on her. We met with a bunch of specialists and people who would be doing like her surgery and people who would be taking care of her in the NICU and my OB. So it was just very Cincinnati Children's. Everybody there is amazing. We love them.
I remember hearing a little bit about you sharing with me how wonderful it was, and they really do have excellent care, don't they?
Oh my goodness, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were at Cincinnati Children's, and then I got the news we would have to go up. We would have to go up 6 weeks before she was born.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we went up there, and we got the news that we were going to plan to be there 6 weeks for monitoring. They were going to do like 4 or 5 appointments a week. We would stay at Ronald McDonald House, and so that was hard news because 6 weeks away from your community, your family, your friends is just hard.
Well, and also not to mention both of you have work lives and things you're not expecting to be off that entire 6 weeks. So it's a financial hardship. It's a life hardship.
Definitely.
We were so
thankful too that Grant actually finished his last final like the week before we were going up, and we actually got sent up early. We went to an appointment at
wasn't it like a couple weeks early?
It was a week.
It was
a week early, but still, I don't know why that like made such a difference. But so we got sent up a week early. It was that Friday. We were at an appointment.
You had to live in the Ronald McDonald House. I'm sure that wasn't easy. And then go to all these appointments. Did you get to do anything fun while you were like...
Oh my gosh, yes.
Did you go to the zoo?
We did.
We
got zoo memberships. Yes.
I love the zoo.
And it's like a walk away. Like we could walk to the zoo. I mean, there were some days where we would be like, oh, let's go get lunch. And like we would just go to the zoo and eat lunch with the elephants. And it was just something. It was a good like break. Distraction, breather. It was time for... Grant and I to spend with each other. It was just very unique. Cincinnati also, I didn't think I had kind of a negative persona of
the big city.
I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do. Also, Ohio, I was like, oh my gosh. But no, it was amazing. We love Cincinnati. There's so many fun things to do. We found like a coffee shop that we really like, so we would go there and work. Good. And it was also just time for us.
There's a favorite tapas place that we love. It's called Mita's, M-I-T-A.
Natalie told me about that.
Oh, so good. Yeah, everything is so good.
I had it on my list, and we didn't get to go, but I had it on my list to go.
Inspired by Spanish food, Spain, and small plates. Really delicious. If anybody's listening, go there.
Go to Mita's. I love that. We were in Cincinnati and then went to a bunch of appointments. Her heart rate had been like up and down, and that's why we got sent early because they just wanted more extensive monitoring.
Yeah.
And so they would watch her heart rate. I'd go into an appointment, and it would be like a 20-minute appointment turn into like a 4-hour appointment.
Oh, my word. Yeah. I can't imagine what you guys went through. It
was crazy.
And not to mention, you're not in your own bed. You're not sleeping well. And then you're worried about her. And
Ronald McDonald House was great. I mean, like, it was as great as it could be. They like kind of thought of everything. They were great.
Did you meet other moms, other parents while you were staying there? Or was it?
I didn't. I should have reached out a lot more than I did. But I did. We were supposed to start like a mom's group that I was really excited about. But then little Miss came early before I even started the mom's group. So,
how did you know? How did you know she was coming early? Like, what happened?
Yeah.
What were the signs?
Well, moral of the story, I haven't even said the story yet, but moral of the story, do your kick counts. If you have a baby, do your kick counts. Because
so you were counting how many times you felt her kick.
Yes. So we were in our Ronald McDonald House. It's 10 o'clock at night. We had had a full day. I had an MRI actually at 6 a.m. that morning.
Oh my
We had
word.
met with all the team. We had talked about her surgery plan. And then the doctor looked at us and was like, there's no way that she is not going to make it to 39 weeks. And we were like, oh, amazing. That's like such a
relief.
Yeah, I know.
And so that was like still how many weeks away at that point? So
it would have been 8.
So you were 8 weeks away from what they were sure she was going to make it to 39 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
She was like, they were like, there's no way. And we were like, oh, phew. So we said, let's go to the zoo and hang out and like release from the day. We'll just go to the zoo and hang out. And then we got back to Ronald McDonald House. We had dinner. And then I was like, okay, I'll do my kick counts. And so I laid on my side. I wasn't feeling her. I laid on my other side. Wasn't feeling her. Drank some water. Wasn't feeling her. Used the bathroom. Sat down. Played music. Like did everything. And I was like, I'm just not feeling her. And they told us to go in as like if we needed to go in or like just even if we're just feeling weird, like just go in. And so we were like, we're just a walk away. Let's just walk in. And we walked to triage. And I remember they like got me hooked up, and for like 45 minutes they were monitoring me, and we had been doing this a few times. Like there was a lot of times where I just went in because I wasn't feeling right, and it was fine. They did monitoring for an hour and it was fine. But they did it for me this time, and we were like, we're just gonna go into check. We'll come back. It's whatever. Yeah. And then they were like, her heart rate is dropping and it's not coming back up like it usually does. Mm-hmm. It usually drops and comes back up. And it was because of the cord compression. Yeah. But yeah, so her heart rate was dropping.
Like if their cord is laying on the top of their head as they're moving down the canal, getting in position, it presses on that.
Yeah. And so that was because there was fluid in her stomach that was compressing the cord and it was making her heart rate drop. But this time her heart rate was dropping and staying for a little bit, and then it would come back up and drop and stay.
And were you aware of that, or they just had to explain that? They had to tell you, like you didn't see it on the monitor happening, or
we kind of looked at things and we were like, it looks a little different, but like one of the nurses was even like, it's not Eleanor's birthday today. It's okay. Because I was feeling a little bit like, a little worried.
You had a mom intuition.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Can you imagine if you didn't follow your intuition?
I know. I think about that a lot. Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. So proud of you. Followed your gut.
Do your kick counts.
Yeah.
Yes. But so then the laborist came in and she was like, you're having your baby today. And then I hear like all the nurses back there saying like, prep her. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready. I was like, I'm not ready. And they were like, you have to be ready. And the nurse was like, you doing this asleep or awake? Because we got to go. And so I was a little bit of an anxious mess, but I feel like that's to be expected. I keep telling myself.
Well, that was a shocking situation.
Yeah, it was a lot. But then, we got down there, had Eleanor came out, and she actually came out, and like the complication that she had was a lot better than they even expected.
So you expected her to go right to surgery, and what happened?
Yeah, I expected her to go right to surgery, and when she came out, they were like, actually, the anatomy that they thought that she had was not the anatomy. Different. We didn't see it in the MRI. So
what a miracle.
Yeah. So she still has to have surgery, but they're like, she can get bigger. We can wait until. So she was in the NICU. Amazing. She weighed.
Feels really miraculous. Like, that never happens when you have surgeons convinced of one thing and then it's completely different when the baby arrives. That's pretty shocking.
The nurse that we had was like, all the surgeons came in, like not just your surgeon, all the surgeons came in and they were like, what happened? Like they all came in just to look at all of her stuff. Yeah. And he said that one of the surgeons even came in like his street clothes. They were like, what is going on? It was crazy.
They were all texting each other going, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah, I know. And my Nana, I keep going back to this. My Nana kept saying, God's not done knitting. And I would always be like, yeah, but they saw it on the MRI. Like, it's true. And she would be like, God's not done knitting. And I was like, oh,
your Nana was right.
I know. And then she came out and I was like, I guess God wasn't done knitting.
Yeah.
And, Eleanor she's amazing. She weighed 4 pounds, 4 ounces whenever she was born. And then they had to drain some fluids. So then she weighed 310. And, so, yeah, she was just a little miracle. She's so cute in the NICU.
So she was in the NICU, and I bet how did that feel? And what was it like? Like, describe what it was what the NICU was like. Like, did she have her own little space, or was it an open room where lots of babies were? What did that look like?
Yeah. She had her own little space. We had our own little cabin room. They named it Eleanor's Eiffel Tower. They do like little sayings for us.
So did it have little sliding glass door kind of thing?
Yep. And then a bathroom in there for us, a little cot with a TV for Grant and I to just be there all day. And so every day we would sleep in the Ronald McDonald House, go over about 8 a.m. The doctors would come. They did rounds every day. So the pharmacist, the doctor, the OT, the PT, the dietitian, everybody just huddled up. They got the lowdown on the last 24 hours. And then they would tell us, what's the next 24 hours look like, or what's her feeding plan for the next 24 hours. And so that was really great. So Grant and I would wake up 8 a.m., go there. And sometimes it was hard.
And all the while you're trying to recover.
Yeah.
You just had a major surgery.
I remember I'm laughing because
you have no time to lay in bed and recover.
I remember sitting there and like a doctor was talking to me and I fell asleep. Like as he was talking to me, and Grant's in pharmacy school, so he's like he knows all the medical jargon and everything, and it all goes way above my head.
He also knew the pain meds you were on.
Exactly.
He also understood why you conked out.
And so the doctors would look at me and they would explain everything going on with Eleanor, and I would just be like, Grant, I don't know what's going on. And so they got to the point where they knew that Grant was the one that they needed to talk to.
Yeah, because you had the pain med brain.
Exactly.
Your brain was not quite there.
Yeah. I was like, just take care of this. And he was amazing. I don't know how someone goes through being in the NICU and not having like any medical background because, I mean, the doctors do a great job at trying to explain it, but it's just really hard.
It's a lot of information coming at you fast, and you feel like sometimes you can't bother them with a clarifying question or something. Like,
well,
it's intimidating.
even like you wake up in the morning and they have their labs that they've done on her like the past day or a few days, and you get the notification at like 6 a.m. that all of her labs. And so you see them and they're like red and yellow and green.
And you're like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I'm like, what do I have to do?
There's so many red.
I know, really. And I was like, Grant, what does this mean? He would kind of explain it to me, or he'd be like, let's ask them about this. And I mean, even she had a UTI in the NICU, and Cincinnati Children's is great, but they didn't really pick up on it because they weren't in the room with her all the time. Yeah. And Grant was just watching her heart rate the whole time, and he was like, her heart rate's kind of going down a little bit. And they were like, oh, just, baby things, like NICU things, preemie things. And he was like, I don't know. So then, and she wasn't regulating her temperature. And so he was like, I don't know, could you run like, and her urine got cloudy too. And so he was like, can you run some things? And she had a UTI. And so they were like, so just having him there to kind of be like a medical person, I think they definitely would have caught it, but it was cool.
But it was nice that he was able to put the pieces together.
Exactly.
And kind of figure that out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
I know. Babies need their mamas and daddies.
I know.
Advocating for them, for sure.
I know. Yeah.
So how long were you in the NICU then?
Yeah.
How long did that go on?
6 weeks.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So we were at the Cincinnati Children staying Ronald McDonald House for 8 weeks. So 2 weeks with me being pregnant with monitoring. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, she wanted to join. And so we were there for 6 weeks. She wanted to
go to that zoo. I know it.
Oh, yeah. And we're taking her back. We've got year passes because we thought those would pay off, but we only went a few times. But yeah.
Yeah, you need to take her.
Got to take her back. We're going to go to the Festival of Lights, and that'll be fun. But anywho, she wanted to be there. And so we were in the NICU for 6 weeks, which was like, it was hard. You wake up and you go there at 8 a.m., like I said, and then you're just there all day because it breaks your heart to leave.
Right.
It breaks your heart.
You want to be near, and it's
if
exhausting.
Something happened,
it's hard to nap in there. It's hard to recover.
Yeah.
So your body was really like on a go, even after your surgery that you had to recover from.
And we were talking about, like, it's just exhausting, being there, and like, you're not doing anything. Like, we went to the NICU and, like, we were holding her and we would, like, feed her. But, like, between all of those things, we would be looking at her, or, like, we'd be sitting on the couch, or, you know, we brought puzzles. We did puzzles in the NICU. And, but, like, you're not doing anything. But for some reason, it just feels so exhausting.
So exhausting.
Because, I mean, it's a beautiful day outside. Like, it was right in May. It was gorgeous.
And you're just stuck inside.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it's exhausting mentally, physically, and, you know, anybody who has a NICU experience knows that. But
and so is there anything through all that challenge and hard, like something a mom might be listening that is also anticipating a NICU stay? Like maybe they got some hard news and they know their baby's going to be in the NICU. Is there any encouragement or any piece of advice you could give them?
Yeah. So a piece of advice I think I would give them is, you know, practically do get out a little bit. Like, go out to dinner, you know, go out to dinner with your husband, or, you know, with your friends, and spend that time away. But also, like, don't feel bad if you want to stay in, because I there was some times, and I'm so thankful that my friends came up to see us, but, you know, there would be some times where we would go out, and, like, the whole time I would just think about, you know, being with Eleanor, and, like, my mental health needed the time.
You needed a break.
I needed a break from the NICU, but, you know, my heart just wanted to be there so bad. And you were just thinking about, like, you know, something did happen, and, you know, all those mom thoughts. So just give yourself a lot of grace, with it, because, you know, do the things they have got your baby. Like, if you're in the NICU, like, your baby is safe.
It is such the challenge of a mom, like even outside of something like a NICU stay, is in everything about motherhood. It's like you want to be right there with them, but you know you need this break. You take a break, and then you just long to be back with them. It's the craziest thing.
Yeah.
You're like, I need to have that break and be okay with that. Like, convince myself that I can stop these thoughts, and she's going to be okay, and she's not going to be she's going to be taken care of. I don't have to be there every minute. Yeah. But it's something in us that.
Yeah. And I would also say get to know your nurses.
That's a good.
Like, ask them questions about their personal life. Yeah. And, we became, like, best friends with some of the nurses there. They were amazing.
Because they're people, and they're pouring their heart out.
Yeah, and they love your baby. Like, it's not just a job for them. Like, they're there because they love your baby, and they love taking care of baby. I mean, there was one nurse that we had, and she had 4 kids of her own, and she was working a night shift. Like, she only worked night shifts. And it's like, did she have the opportunity to like, you know, work day shift and, or even like not work as a NICU nurse, but like she didn't want to. She wanted to be there because she loved her job and she loved those babies. And so she loves you. Like, the nurses love the babies and they love you too. And so, like, just like ask your nurses about their lives and be friends with them. Like, they really do
care for them while you're there. That's good. And kind of get your brain off something other than just being so self-focused.
Yeah, and it makes you so happy to go to the NICU. Like, we would be like, oh, we're having, you know, Lena we're so excited. And it was just great to know, like, who was taking care of your baby too.
So that's some really great tips for somebody listening that might be, you know, anticipating having to stay in the hospital or in a NICU for a while. Talk to me now about what was it like leaving the hospital? Like the actual, because there's a lot of things you have to do. They have to know that you can do all the things in her medical care and her care when she goes home. So what was that like? Like, did you have to get checked off that you can do these things? And did you feel nervous about that, learning some of those things, or what was that like?
Yeah. So she was like a day away from having to go home with a feeding tube. And so we had all the checklist of, we had to do a car seat check. So we had to put her in the car seat. We had to do, how do we draw medicine? They had to check that off for us. So all of those things, but then her feeding, we almost went home with a feeding tube. And so we had to, check off, both Grant and I had to place a feeding tube in her 2 times each.
Wow.
And so that was, it broke my heart every time. And they were like, it's like,
the worst is when they gag, when you're sliding that tube down, they go.
I know. Poor thing.
It's the worst.
But they were like, it doesn't hurt her. It's just uncomfortable. And so, so we had to learn how to do that. And then, some other things with like her complication, we had to like learn how to cath her and learn how to, just do some things like that and learn how to feed her. She was a feeder, where like she would get really overwhelmed, and so we had to learn how to elevated sideline.
Stop sign?
Oh my goodness.
Stop sign all the time?
I have so many pictures of her like she's going like this.
Yeah.
And she still does it. Like I think that it's just like a
one
natural,
of those little like, preemie signs that is telling people back off. I'm a little overwhelmed. They have all kinds of little things that communicate. This is too much for me.
Yeah.
But that's one of them. That is the cutest one.
You know how like that you do the hello world and you put like all of her details. In like one of the pictures, she's literally like, and I'm like, you are drama right now. She's like, please,
I wonder if that will carry through. Stay tuned. We'll have to find out in a couple of years if that carries through to her personality.
We'll have a toddlerhood one. That'll be fun. Terrible twos.
Yeah, she's still got the sass.
Oh, yeah.
I bet got the drama.
I bet she will. But yeah, so we had to check off all those things and then, driving home. It's crazy that they just send you home with a human.
I know. You've got this little person in your car. Mom's listening. Don't you remember that overwhelming feeling where the first time you put your first baby in the car, you're like, what in the world? We're a family and we're driving in a car.
I know. I was sitting in the back and we had a 2-hour drive home. And I was like, how are we gonna, all the things like, how are we gonna feed her? How are we gonna, and you don't feed her in the car. That's not what I'm saying. But like, how do you plan out your whole day to feed her? And
some moms creatively feed babies in the car.
If
you're tall, you can really like get creative.
Oh man, I haven't gotten there yet. She still kind of gags whenever, or she like kind of has that like choking, and that just scares me to death to do something like that. But if she needed it, we would do it. But I was like, how do we do this? So you
get home, you pull in. Did you have family there to greet you, or did they let you just like quietly come home, or what was that like?
Oh no, we have a tribe. It's amazing. We have a bunch of friends that live in apartments around us. We call it a little compound that we have. It's not actually it's just around our apartment. But they were there. They were cleaning our apartment. They were making everything look like home. They had dinner for us. I mean, it was over the top. Like we had friends like, reorganizing our clothes to make sure they all looked so nice whenever we came home, because we had to leave on a whim.
You left in like the middle of the night. Just gotta go.
We didn't have to have time to clean out our drawers or make sure her nursery is set up.
Usually you're getting ready for everything.
Exactly. And so we didn't have time to do any of that stuff, but our friends just went over to our apartment. We gave them all keys, and they would do stuff in the nursery for us, and they just made our home feel like home whenever we got home.
How sweet that you got home to that. So you got in the door. Was your mom there? Or
my parents weren't there. They were back home, but we had our friends there. My mom came and stayed with us that weekend though.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. That's really sweet. It's always helpful to have someone there.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a good tribe, good family that's with us. And, if you another piece of advice, if you don't have that tribe, reach out. I mean, just thinking back, like I had friends during postpartum coming home, being a little overwhelmed, not knowing what to do. I had friends coming over and like doing my laundry, or like even whenever we found out about the diagnosis, like I was just like distraught, and it was hard to like do things. And like I had friends come over and be like, can we just like make you dinner, or can we, do your laundry for you, or deep clean your house? Like just so sweet.
That's so sweet.
So find a tribe. If you don't have one, reach out to me and I'll come deep clean your house for you. Do your laundry for you while you're pregnant or something.
So now you've been home, settled in, you had maternity leave, transitioned back to work. What's on your mind these days? Like what's...
Probably that she changes every day. So I just feel like every single day my mind is transitioning into, what's new today?
What is she doing today? What sounds? I always mourned when they stopped doing the cute little sounds they were doing, and now they're on to the next stage, and you're like, what happened to the other sound?
Yeah, she like kind of does these little like little noises. They're so cute. She's starting to smile, and like if you smile at her, she'll smile back now. And she loves the mornings, and so in the morning you'll wake up and she'll just look at you and grin. And she loves her dad in the morning, so we'll put her in the middle of us in the mornings just to be together. And she'll like look up at her dad.
That's some of the sweetest time. It's first thing in the morning when you're still, and you all can like snuggle in bed and kind of be together. And that's true all throughout their little bitty childhood when they're young.
Yeah.
It's some of the sweetest moments.
It is. It is. I remember whenever we first came home, we had her in the middle of us, and like for like hours we would just sit there and stare at her. And we were like, she's just so perfect and beautiful. And we were just, what is she gonna do now? And she's just, preemie baby, and she's not really doing much. She's just laying there, and we're like,
you're pretty much just enamored with this gift that was just given you, right? Yeah, so enamored.
Amazing.
So do you have any questions or wondering thoughts? Like, what do you do now? Now she's home. Now you're full-blown mom. You got through all the hard stuff. Like, she started eating and nursing and taking a bottle and those things. You're working on that. But what are you
right now we're in the thick of sleep training.
And
so right now we're trying. I work from home on Tuesday through Friday. And so getting her on a good rhythm is helpful for me to like plan meetings and to plan like good intentional work time. And, she'll like be awake, and, you're like, go to sleep. And so, and it's hard too. 'Cause like, you don't want, I haven't wanted her to like cry it out. It breaks my heart. I don't have the heart for it right now. But like if she is in her crib, I like want her to be safe in there.
Yeah, you do.
So,
well, to help you with me, I could never do the cry it out thing either, but my husband could. So, and you have to decide together, like when is the right time. She was a preemie. She's still pretty young. But for us, it was when our kids were around that 3-4 month, like they were closer to like 4 months. And so obviously your baby's not quite there yet. She's not quite at 4 months adjusted.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't do it, but he could. And it only took 3 nights.
Really?
3 nights. That's it.
What'd you do?
Every kid we had to sleep train. Literally, you just, it's kind of the typical thing you read. I'm sure there's books out there. There's all kinds of help for you to read. How do you sleep train your child? And I did have a lengthy discussion with my pediatrician at the time about it. And he was very encouraging about it and talking about the importance of sleep and how, everybody has to decide this for yourself, because some people believe they just need to get their baby and feed them and, whatever. So for us, we knew at least 7 or 8 hours should be good sleep. We felt like the baby needed it. I needed it. And so he would just put the baby down, do his normal routine, bedtime routine. We had a boy first, so that's why I said he. And then walk away, they go to sleep. When he would wake up, he'd be the one to go in, and he wouldn't pick him up. He would just have his voice and his touch. At first he would like pat his bottom and say, "It's okay, buddy, go back to sleep," and talk to him, kind of soothe him. Walk back out, wait, and he would do a certain amount of time. Like if he started with 3 minutes or 4 minutes, everybody recommends something different, but he would do a certain amount of time, have a timer on, go back in, do the same thing, go out, and keep repeating that until eventually they fall asleep.
Yeah.
So like the first night's pretty rough. It could be like 2 hours on and off of this. The next night it's like 45 minutes. The next night it's like 5 or 10 minutes. I don't know. That was our experience. We had the first 4 we had to sleep train.
Yeah.
And it worked like that, every one of them. And the 5th one just slept through the night. We had a gift.
Oh, that's amazing.
We just had a big present.
Yeah.
The child just slept through the night.
That's awesome.
But I couldn't do it. So for moms listening out there, most moms, it rips our heart out. And I was always surprised at how quickly they did it, how quickly they were able to go back to sleep. And we also learned, as they were a little older, like maybe the age you can sit up around 6 months, we just kept water in the corner of their bed because they are like us. They wake up and they're thirsty. Sometimes it's if the heat's on or they're just dry, your throat's dry, you just need a drink. And sometimes they just need a sip of water. And most people don't think about that. They think, they think more about feeding them a bottle or whatever, when maybe they don't need a bottle really in the middle of the night, but maybe they need a sip of water. So we would just keep like a, sippy cup with like half full or something of water. And we did that the whole time they were toddler, all the way till they didn't need anymore, or till they were in a regular bed and just kept it on their nightstand. But we picked a corner of the bed, and it was always in the same corner.
Okay.
So they knew where to find it.
Okay.
And it just was like a pattern. We just put it in the corner.
What did you do, like, whenever you were rocking them to sleep? Do you rock them until they're just drowsy to put them down, or do you rock them until like they're asleep where you drop their arm?
When you sleep train, you don't actually pick them up.
Okay.
You keep them in bed, and you don't pick them up. That's the rule of it. Is at first he did the patting and the touch, so they knew Daddy's here, you're okay, reassuring them, but you don't pick them up. And that's the hard part. That's where I couldn't do that, because I would have melted and just picked them up. So he was able to do it. And sometimes it was hard for me. I had to make sure I was far enough away from the baby because if I did wake up in the night, I would just force myself to not walk out of my room, not be a part of it, not, let him take care of it. And again, I was just always shocked at how quickly it happens. Like most things with most children, most typically developing children, the hang up is really us, the parents.
Yeah.
If we take a pacifier away, if we do any transition thing, it's really harder on us than it is them. They're quicker to adapt to it. So when you get to the point where you feel like you're ready to sleep train, there's lots of good information out there. But I just want to encourage you and all the moms out there, it does work if you choose it. And if, but I get it. I couldn't do it. It had to be my husband.
We're in the beginning of, whenever we brought her home, I was like, she's so much comfier in the bed. And that's the one thing that I said. I would never put her in bed with us because I'm such a heavy sleeper. Grant is a heavy sleeper. And I was like, if we put her in bed with us, very dangerous. But she, she loved it. And we were, so in the middle of the night, whenever I was just so weak to do anything, I would be like, put her in the bed. And then I'd wake up and Grant was like, we can't keep doing that. Like, that's just not safe. And so we've weaned from that. So that is good stuff. We've weaned from that. But that was in the beginning. I was like, I just need to sleep.
Yeah.
Put her in there.
Safe sleep is not in the same bed for sure.
Yes. And alone back crib.
Yeah.
That's another thing we had to check off whenever we left the NICU was alone back crib. We had to know what safe sleep was.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Is there any question you have for me? Because those moms that are just tuning in that don't know my background, I've spent a lot of years as a pediatric occupational therapist, specialized on development, and actually was in the NICU. I was the OT in the NICU lots of years ago. So is there anything you wonder about or any questions you have?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is just like where she's supposed to be developmentally. Like I do look up some things like what is she supposed to be doing, but sometimes again, like we talked about this in the other episode, like it's just so there's so much out there, like, and then at the end of what they say, they always say, and every baby's different, and I'm like, well, is my baby different than what you just said then? So it's like, and even being preemie, like, do I go based off of her adjusted age, or, you know, will she catch up and be like doing the 3-month things, you know? Yeah,
she will. I mean, the goal is she's caught up by 12, 18 months. She's caught up because she wasn't extremely premature. She's not an extreme.
8 weeks,
She was 8 weeks premature. So you would think definitely by 18 months, she would be totally caught up. But they're right in that every baby's on their own timeline for development. Development is sort of a general thing. But just remember, they develop from head to toe, basically. So, you know, the first thing is working on head control. Is when you hold her, is she looking up and doing that head control? If you lay or slouch back, you know, on the couch, I'm going to do it right now, and you put them on your belly, can she pick her head up and look at you and talk to you? And so you just start with that. A lot of what I call is extension, where they're going against gravity. Like if she's laying on her tummy, can she pick her head up and turn it and look around? And then they get stronger and stronger and get up on their elbows, and they can get up on their elbows and look around, you know. So you're looking for those types of movement and development. And then eventually they'll start working on little wiggles, I call it, on their tummy, where they're kind of squirming around and wiggling a little bit and rolling. There's 2 ways to roll. You can roll from your tummy to your back and from your back to your belly. Well, back to belly is harder because it takes more rotation and more kind of force to get it done. But what happens that's why tummy time is so important. When you're on your tummy and you're learning to push up, eventually they push up. And a lot of it is with the eye gaze. When they're looking, it'll cause them to roll over and they'll flop over. And at first they do it sometimes surprising themselves, like accidentally. Yeah. And they're like startled, like, what did I just do? And then they figure it out and they can repeat it. When they're sleeping on their back, it's not likely they'll do that roll to their tummy first. Usually it's during playtime or tummy time, if you have tummy time. That's why tummy time is important, pushing up against gravity. So that's kind of where she's heading. And you just kind of do the things that promote that. And a lot of like her laying on your belly or getting down on the floor with her. You can also take a changing pad and put it on your counter or your table and have her do a little tummy time there, because your face can be more equal with her rather than on the floor. You know, it's kind of awkward on the floor because it's hard to get that low, like where they are. But if you're up and she's right in front of you, you're not going to let her roll off anything. Yeah. She's just on I call it a sloped little changing pad, one of those sloped kind. I would always take it and just put it like on the table or the kitchen counter. And then you can get eye to eye and you can spend more time interacting. It's a little easier. Or if you have one of those changing pads and it's on a dresser where you can get to the end of the dresser and kind of do the same thing, just talk to her. That's always nice.
She's doing this funny thing right now where like we hold her arms and she'll like stand up, she'll like press with her feet, and she loves standing, and so she'll like, I'll sit her down and she'll like sit there and wobble her head because she doesn't have really like head control right now. I mean, she has a little bit, she can hold it up.
Well, I'll tell you don't want to promote a lot of standing right now, especially with preemies have natural more extension or more desire to stand than they do, because preemie development, they're born before they got all smushed up, and babies come out, typically full-term babies have a lot of flexion, or they're bent up, their arms and their legs are bend up. Well, she didn't start that way because she didn't have as long in the womb. And the things to caution about too much standing before she has head control or before she's working on trunk control is like their little feet can be in awkward positions. They can get in a pattern of just pushing extension, which isn't great. Okay. And can cause like some muscle imbalance kind of stuff. So yeah, it's better to leave her sitting on your lap and hold her, you can lower your hands at first high for her to work on head control. Once she has it there, you can slowly move your hands down, her little body, where she's working more on that trunk control. And
I was curious about that too, because I was like, she loves doing it. Like she'll sit there, she'll smile and loves like pressing, but I'm like, she hasn't even like crawled yet. Yeah. Or like, I mean, she'll like somewhat like she'll have her head up and on tummy time, but like she won't like, press up like you were saying.
Right,
she doesn't
on
do
her
that
elbows.
yet. She doesn't have like her chest up yet.
And she's not really supposed to. So you just give her time, she'll learn how to do it. I have seen some babies end up with feet that are turned out because they spent a lot of time putting their feet in their parents' legs. Like they turn their toes out. Like picture if I'm holding a baby right here and their little feet are that way. And because they pushed up and pushed up and pushed up with their little feet turned, their feet really are turned when they go to stand. I have seen that before. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to make sure,
flat
feet,
you have them.
Yeah.
If she's not
like, you would put it flat on the furniture or flat on the ground if you were sitting on the floor with her or something like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
And you always want the feet to be flat, not tippy-toe.
Okay.
If they're tippy-toeing, you definitely don't want to be promoting that.
Yeah.
The tippy-toe. So,
yeah. Interesting little tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything like talking wise like that she should be doing or like just kind of let her kind of develop?
Like your sounds, sometimes they'll go, ah, and you'll go, ah, and, just whatever sound she's making, you play that little game where you imitate her and sometimes they imitate you, and that's how they learn those consonants, the first ba, ba, da, da, all those they listen to you and they watch you and really a lot of her age is interaction with your face, a lot of facial expressions and being silly and we don't
smile back now.
Yeah, and we don't always have to talk. Like sometimes we feel like we're talking. You don't always have to talk. Sometimes it's just the facial interaction back and forth, just the communication, the nonverbal communication that happens.
She did this one thing the other day. I was like, Eleanor, do you want to go to Starbucks? And I was like, Starbucks? And she went,
and she did it back.
Yeah. And then I was like, this is adorable. And then I did this one thing. I was like, ah, ha, ha. And she went, and like, throw her head back with her.
They start to imitate you. It's amazing how that happens. Yeah.
Precious. I love it. They're all the little things that she does. I'm like, you couldn't do anything wrong. You just cried, but I forgot about it. You're too cute.
They're just precious. So have you had any really bad blowouts yet?
Not really bad, honestly.
That's good.
There has been one where her little diaper slips off sometimes. Her little booty's flat. So her diaper will like it'll scooch down. So in the middle of the night, whenever I have her like in those nightgowns, I'll pick her up and just everywhere. Like, your diaper fell down to the bottom.
I call those you just gotta bathe them. There's no way to clean that up. You're just gonna stick them in the bath. Get them some water.
Or like while you're changing them. The other day I was changing her on our bed. Big no. She on our bed, and I was like, "Oh, throw those in the bathroom." And she's just like,
the worst is when you have stuff like that happens, and then it takes you hours to clean up. Or
I'm like, I just washed my sheets yesterday.
Yeah. Wait till you have a newly potty trained child pee in their car seat. That's great fun because if you have cloth seats in your car, that's really bad. But because then you got the cloth seat in the car, and then you got the whole car seat you got to take apart and you got to dry it, and it's hours of work for one little thing.
I was listening to this thing called elimination communication. Have you heard of it?
No.
They're teaching like infants, like 3-week-olds, how to use the potty. And it's like a way that
I didn't know it was called that, but I have heard of that. And there's cultures that put their babies on the potty.
Yeah.
By the way.
And they like call, they say like the diaper industry is like, has come up with diapers and all that,
It's all a money scheme. But stop and think about it for a minute. You all think about this. What did they do 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago? Right. There were no diapers.
Yeah.
There were no.
They watched their communication. They didn't just I don't think babies want to use the bathroom on themselves. I think they want to
there's a few things I want to go back in time and see how did they do that back then.
Exactly.
That's one of them.
Yeah. I was listening to a podcast about that the other day and I was like, so interesting. Maybe not with Eleanor, but maybe my next baby, I'm going to try this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I think I'd have to have a bunch of people doing it with me.
I know there are cultures that do it and it's successful. I mean, I don't know a lot about it other than, what I've read, but I do know many, many times kids are ready for potty training earlier than we in America.
When do you think
we approach?
They are.
I think there's a lot of kids that are ready, around 18 months, 16, really? 18 months. Yeah. Even 14 months beginning to show readiness and talk about it. And we had 2 of our kids. I mean, we did not force them. But we just listened to them and talked about it and gave them the opportunity to try it. And both of our girls were fully done by the time they were probably 20 months.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Big girl panties and all.
Wow.
Yeah. But, and the boys were a little later, like 2 years, 2 months, around that age.
Yeah.
But earlier than what was trending at the time, which is now, it's like 3, 4. Some kids are 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It depends on your kid.
And your family and, definitely. It's
a personal choice.
I know. I was just reading that and I was like, that's so interesting. I never really thought about that, but.
Yeah, kind of neat. Mm-hmm. Well, I love that you took time to share something so personal with us today. I'm sure there's a lot of moms that'll benefit from listening to you and your experience. And, I've been impressed with you as a mom. I've been impressed that you've handled so many challenges, so many things for being a young mom. Mm-hmm. You've been able to get through it, and you've been able to do it with laughter and joy and letting yourself cry or be sad or, have the emotion. But I've just watched you do it with such grace. So I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
You're a good mommy.
Yeah. Thanks
for listening to us today.
Yeah, this is so much fun to be on this podcast and talk about this experience. I hope it inspires someone maybe in the same situation or maybe not in the same situation and they just need, someone to talk to about, baby stuff. So
it's good.
If you do, I don't know all the baby things because I'm only 3 months into this, but, I'd love to talk to you about the experience or, again, if you need someone to come, deep clean your house or like do your laundry because you're just overwhelmed with pregnancy or with a newborn, please let me know. Like I will because a lot of people did it for me. So
you returned the favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest joys being a mom, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. It's amazing.
And welcome to the Mom Club.
I love it.
Thanks a lot for being with us today.
Thanks, fam.
Thanks so much for listening to Help, I Have Kids. If you're tuning into this podcast, that means you're a mom who's curious, committed, and ready to learn. And we see you. We'd love for you to join our Help, I Have Kids Facebook community where moms just like you are connecting, asking questions, and encouraging each other every day. It's a space for real conversations, expert insight, and support from moms who get it, because we're all in this together. And if you know a mom who's feeling unsure or maybe overwhelmed or just needs to be reminded that she can do it, she can advocate for her child with confidence, share this episode with her. We're building a village here, and we're glad you're a part of it.